Hello, and welcome back to the Gaming Hall. Today we have another instalment of Casual Fridays, and it is a Void Pirate off between myself on the left, playing my trusty crab, and fellow podcast host Richard on the right with his crane. This was recorded last week, so everything up to Pack 3 had been released at the point. So some new cards have been chucked in for us to have a game and try them out, see if they're worth keeping. Apologies for the delay in getting a video out. I was away at Starlek trying to record some footage there from one of the side events. Starlek is a massive Game of Thrones tournament that's held each year in the middle of Germany. Recorded some L5R games, but unfortunately, because we were all very tired at the time, some of the games didn't really come out too well, lighting issues and such. So on to the game. And we have flips. So on the left, I flipped into the Heartbreak Kid himself, Mr. Hida Kasada, a Steadfast Witch Hunter, Keeper Initiate, and the new District, which is the limit once per deck. Give a fate to your opponent, choose a character and an attachment that they control, and take control of that attachment if able to, or discard it. Richard has flipped into Cautious Scout, which he has just played, which blanks provinces when attacking alone. Kakita Asami, the new 5-coster, Kakita Yoshi, which allows him to discard Imperial Favour and draw some cards and reduce event costs, and a nice cheap Doji Whisperer. So, Richard's dropped the Cautious Scout and Doji Whisperer, and I've elected just for the Witch Hunter with 2 additional fate on there. Allow me to pass first, so I've gone in with 3 fate, and Richard's gone in with 4 fate. So, on to dials. So, I've gone 5, Richard's gone 4. And you can't quite see it clearly. You can just about make out that I have 2 different types of tokens there. One represents 5, which has got a nice bigger border on it than some of the other ones. So it's actually a lot clearer in person than it is on screen. So I give Richard one honour even. So I go down to 9 and Richard goes up to 12. So he starts on 11 and I only start on 10. Richard is the first player, and we just remembered my lovely first player token that I got produced by one of the guys on Facebook. I'll chuck a link in the description for you. He does some really, really nice stuff. Also managed to get some double-sided Honour Dishonour tokens. Some of the nicest acrylic work I've actually seen. So I'll chuck a link in the description again, and go check him out. Drop him a message if you like anything. He's very, very reasonably based in Europe. So we've got the first conflict. So no pre-conflict actions, and Richard goes in with the Cautious Scout on his Todd. So then goes into Manicured Garden, but again, because he blanks it because he's attacking alone, it does precisely nothing. So no defenders for myself. So just trying to work out if I'm going to do an action first. So I've got a few options in hand. Got a couple of reprieves. I think I had a charge at the time. Just trying to work out whether I'm going to do anything. So I do elect to pass. Rich passes as well. So there's going to be no break-in. So I'm going to lose an honour for unopposed. Doesn't break, but he gets to honour or dishonour a character. And he chooses to honour the Doji Whisperer. He's in his lovely acrylic tokens he managed to get from when he attended Worlds. So over to me. I ambush in a Wayfinder and get to look at a province, and I see Shameful Display, which is a lovely province to see straight off the bat, which means I can avoid that for most of the game and only attack it when I know that I'm not going to trigger anything off. So it's going to be my conflict now. So I'm opting for a military earth. And I'm going to go and hit Rich's second province, which is Meditations of the Tau. So as an action, he gets to choose a participating character that's attacking and remove fate from it. But because I have no fate there, it's not going to fire off. So quite a nice one to go into in early stages. So Richard just clarifying which which rings do which. So I'm going in with an Earth challenge, which allows me to draw a card and then randomly discard a card from his hand. So no defenders, because Doji Whisperer wouldn't really do much. And on his first action, because defenders always get first, unless otherwise stated by a card effect, plays in charge and gets in Kakita Yoshi in. I also charge and bring out Kasada himself. So it's 8 to me and 2 to Richard. And Richard just clarifying on the ability. So Hida Kasada has a very nice passive ability that while I've not lost a conflict, I cancel the first action ability in each conflict. So because I've already lost a conflict, it wouldn't fire off. And even if I hadn't, Richard had the first action and charged in his character. So when Hida Kasada comes in, the first action's already been. So regardless of what happens, he doesn't fire at all this round, which is quite nice for Rich because he doesn't quite like it when I cancel all of this stuff. So he plays for shame and chooses Hida Kasada and forces me to either bow him or dishonour him. And since he's 0 glory, it doesn't really make sense to bow him, so I'm just going to dishonour him anyway. So I pass. So I'm having a little chat about his options. So he can't trigger off his province because there's no fate on my side that's participating. So Richard challenges me to a policy debate. So one of the new neutral cards, which is during a conflict, he chooses a participating character that he controls and a participating character that I control and challenges into a political duel. Which, spoiler, I'm not going to win. Because Kakita Yoshi's 6 and my best one is 2. My Wayfinder is 1. Loser of the duel reveals their hand to the opponent and they get to discard a card, which is quite nice. So there's absolutely no way I can win this because Kakita Yoshi is 6, I am 1. So I flip 1. Richard bids 3. And then since this is a casual game, we talk it through. So yeah, tell him to go back and do 1 because all he needs to do is 1, and even if I do 5, I still lose. So he bids 1, I bid 1, and I show him my hand. So what we got there? We got another charge, 2 reprieves, Looks like a spyglass, katana. So there's no limit. So he gets rid of my reprieve, and I decided to play a reprieve in case he decides to do it again. And we now find out Richard's splashing splashing dragon, even and immediately makes me let go of that reprieve. So Hida Quesada is not going to just to hang around here. I trigger off a reaction, get that keeper initiate out for free. I still managed to break it though, and get rid of that card. So I've now currently broken one stronghold, and we all go back and bow. So Richard's got a political left because he did a military first. So again, for those not familiar, who've only really been watching for Thrones, you have a chance to do 2 challenges, 2 conflicts each phase. You can only do 1 military and 1 political. So he's going to go in with that political. He's going water. No doubt to try and stand Kakita Yoshi. So Dojurespero is 3 strength. So he does have 3 cards in hand, so he could potentially break it if I don't defend it. So I'm just trying to work out whether I'm going to overcommit and defend. Yeah, so I commit and defend. I get first action. So yeah, so it's currently 3 to me and 4 to Richard because the Whisperer is honoured. I then trigger my Stronghold, which gives both of my defenders +1 skill. However, I completely forget about Rich's Stronghold, which on a political conflict can kneel one that has skill 2 or lower, which he does. And that bows the keeper initiate. So I chuck a fan there. So I'm currently 5 to his 4. So Rich chucks his own fan down. However, because I don't have any fate, I can't use my district. So we both pass, although I probably should have done the Witch Hunter's ability to stand the Keeper Initiate in the action and potentially try and win that. So Richard wins and stands Kakita Yoshi. So I elect to not do any pre-conflict. Although again, on reflection, if I hadn't have done it, I probably should have sacrificed the hunter to stand and try and scout one of those other provinces out. So I pass actions, pass the conflict, and that is the end of round 1. So Richard takes the favour and goes military, and then we go through all the cleanup. So I'm going to lose an honour for Quesada being dishonoured and leaving play, and then Rich will gain an honour for having the Whisperer. So Rich goes up to 13 honour, and I go down to 7. Gain some fate. However, I do have board presence, so I've got that Keeper Initiate and the Witch Hunter hanging around. I'm then going to become first player. And I elect to keep the district out. Main reason being, I've probably had about 15 games so far with that district, and this is the first time it's ever come out, so I think I was determined to try and use that game, regardless whether it was going to be a disadvantage to me or not. And I don't exactly have the greatest of flips. So I flip into a Borderlands Defender, a favourable ground, and one of the new cards, the Staunch Heater. So big negative being a dash on political, so it's a very limited use, and the reaction of when I win as a defender when it's participating. I can claim the ring effects as if I was the attacking player. So Rich has got into what has Rich flipped into? So Rich has flipped into a Brash Samurai, Dodoji Nerishima, another Cautious Scout, and another one of the new cards, Kabuki Hero. So it's a 0/2, but has the ability to spend a fate and gain X military skill, where X is its political skill. So quite nice for a 2-coster. So he plays out Dodoji Nerishima. I'm going to butcher that name again, so apologies for anybody. I play out the Borderlands Defender, chuck a 2 fate on it, so try and keep it around. Just trying to hammer home some of those big numbers and try and keep them around for longer turns. So yeah, so I've played the Defender. Richard played Dodoji. I've passed, so gain another fate, and he uses Dodoji Nerishima's ability to turn another card up and gets one of his 4-costers. So he gets a Storyteller, which gives all of his honoured characters sincerity. And then he's going to start spewing out characters. So out comes the Cautious Scout, and out comes the Hero. And that's Rich done. So Rich is sitting on 1 fate. I've got 3. So I think I'm sat on 5 cards and Rich is sat on 2. So I go for 1, and Rich goes for 4 again. So a 3 honour swing there, so we go back to 10-0. It's one of those lovely little mechanics that I really enjoy about L5R, is not only do you have your fate to manage, but you also have your honour. And your bidding for cards can swing your honour massively. So there's a lot of different elements in this game that you have to balance. If you just spam 5 cards each turn, you'll quickly find you're out of honour, and if you run out of honour, you lose the game. So I'm going to have the first conflict this time round. I'm doing a pre-challenge action and dropping Rich's favourite card of mine, one of my favourite cards, Watch Commander. So he gives the Witch Hunter +1/+1 to both of its stats, and means that every time Richard plays a card during a conflict in which that character is participating, he has to lose an honour. That's a nice way of rapidly dishonouring your opponents. So Richard's passed. Oh no, he hasn't, sorry. And he does Way of the Crane. So he gives that hero an honour. So that makes him 3 in political. So if he spends a fate, he can also be 3 in military as well. So we've now both passed, and it's over to me to do my conflict. So I'm just choosing whether I go in with everybody or just these 2. There is a plan in my head. I was still suffering from tonsillitis at the time, so it might not have been a very clever plan. All I remember is I felt like death at the time. And I'm amazed I even actually managed to make it down to the store for a game or 2. So I'm going in with everybody. I'm doing a military void to try and wipe Richard's board again and keep up that board presence. And we go into the end province. And I walk into, I believe that is Manicured Garden. Yep, Manicured Garden, so he gains a fate. So I'm in for 9. So Rich either has to massively defend this. So Richard declares no defenders, and as his first action, gains a fate from his Manicured Garden. So I then sacrifice my favourable ground to move the Borderland defender home. So he charges in that Storyteller, loses an honour for the as a result of Watch Commander. So I'm still breaking. The Storyteller only has a military skill of 2. And I'm currently 6. So he's Banzai in. He's going to Banzai twice, so he has to lose an honour to get it to +4. And again, because of Watch Commander, he gets another, loses another honour as a result of it for playing the card. So he's quickly down from 10 to 7. So he goes up to 6 to my 6. I'm pushing myself up to 8 by chucking a Katana on that Witch Hunter. So at this moment I'm just forcing Rich to throw cards at this, just to keep whittling down at that honour. So he plays Miromoto's Fury, but elects to do the Keeper Initiate. I think we caught up later on when I was flicking through his discard pile and actually read the card, because I don't tend to play much with Dragon. And then I think Rich just misread the card as why he didn't go for the Witch Hunter. So fairly big misplay there. So I win as a result of that. So I win it. Get rid of the honor token, not the honor token. Sorry, the extra fate. So Rich just realising that he forgot the Imperial Favour, but at that point it wouldn't have mattered because he would have been tied anyway, and attackers win ties. So yeah. So now I sacrifice the Keeper Initiate to stand the Witch Hunter. So fairly big misplay there from Rich, but these are the times to do it on casual games. So I'd have been forced to have stand the Witch Hunter to win that battle. If he'd have done Miromoto's Fury right, or potentially have left it and he would have had another character on the board for another turn. So we've got the Brash Samurai coming in now for Richard for his conflict. He's going for an heir into my Manicured Garden now. So I block with the Witch Hunter. So my first action, Mountain does not fall, so doesn't nil as a result of this conflict resolution. Rich in turn uses the Brash Samurai to honour his character. So Rich is realising that he forgot to take the actual fate from his claim in the air because it wasn't claimed last turn. So admit defeat from Rich, which forces me to bow my lone defender, which is going to allow him to win that challenge. But again, got Watch Commander out, so he's rapidly losing honour. So I get to do my Manicured Garden then to gain a fate. So we both then pass, so Richard wins, but because it is a political, he only has 3. And that province is 4, so he's not going to break, thankfully. And Richard elects to gain 2 honour, so he goes back up to 7 now. So I'm just checking out that hero card, just to read what it does. Trying to work out any conflict matters that could happen here. So we both passed pre-conflict. I passed my second conflict. Figuring it's easy for me to soak up. So we got a military fire with his hero, Narishma, and the samurai. Not samurai even, sorry, the cautious scouts. So he's currently going in for 5. 5, 6 with the cautious, with the hero being honoured, and 7 with the imperial favour. So I'm going to block with the Borderlands Defender, which is probably one of my favourite 3-cost characters in that deck, because it can't be bowed or moved as a defender. And I ambush in my own character. So I chuck in the Hiruma Ambusher, which when he comes in, I can select a character and they can't do their triggered ability. So choose a hero even though he's got no fate. So I go up to 5 now. So I've still got 1 fate left, which I'm going to spend, and I'm going to charge out the defender. So that puts me to 7. Trying to get myself a use out of the new card. So I go to 10 by kneeling out my strongholds. So Richard passes, I pass, and then I win. So Staunch Healer then allows me from winning to resolve the ring effect as if I were the attacking player. So I get the chance to honour or dishonour. And I'm going to honour the Borderlands Defender. So it now goes to a 4-4. Seems it's going to stick around for a little while longer. So that's the end of this turn. I then claim the favour this time, because I've got 2 rings to his 1. So Richard's board get wiped again. He gains 2 honour for having those two honoured characters, and because he's got the storyteller out, they both gain sincerity, so he gets to draw 2 cards. A nice little way of Richard being able to keep his hand size up there. So now it's time to flip. So I've still kept that district. I've now managed to flip into 2 Yojimbos. It looks like an Imperial Storehouse, and I've still got that district. Just determined to try and get some use out of that. Probably wasn't a very clever play. Rich himself has got another Brash Samurai. He's got himself the Doji Challenger, the Asahina Artisan, and another Doji Nerishima. Still butchering that name, and I apologise. So both of my Yojimbos are out. One has 1 fate on it and one doesn't, because it's probably going to get used as a sacrifice target. Richard has then decided to play out the Artisan and Narishna, and turns one of the cards over. And it looks like, can't tell from here, but the Doji Representative, so one of the new cards that allows that character as an action to remove themselves from a challenge. And Doji Challenger has come out as well, so which allows them to pull another character in. So I go 5, and Richard goes 3. So I go down to 8, and Richard goes back up to 11 now. So honour has been going back and forth quite consistently this game. So I've been trying different tack this game of going big on cards when I have the honour to do it, and then feeding my way back up, and then not sure whether I like that way, but it's one of those still trying to play around and test in play style, getting the hang of new cards. This is probably about 10 of us going from Bristol over to the Kotai in January in Cork. So if any of you are there and want to come say hello, come do so. But anyway, back to the game. So Richard's passed his pre-conflicts. I've chucked a Spyglass on the Defender, so allow me to get myself some card draw going. So I've got quite the board state at the moment. So he's going Political Earth, and he's going in with his Doji Challenger, and also with the Artisan. So the Artisan, although it being a 0/0, can kneel to give another character that's participating +3 political. And he goes in to defend the wall. So he defends with 3, that goes to 6. Once he uses the Artisan, and he's going to use the Artisan. So I'm going to block with the non-fated Yojimbo and my Defender. Get to draw a card for Spyglass. So I'm currently at 7. And very nicely pulls in my Witch Hunter. So I'm already winning the conflict, but then forcing me now to overcommit to defense. So I'm going to sacrifice the Storehouse, which allows me to draw a card, see if I can get anything useful. Pass from Richard. So just trying to think. So Richard's still got 1 fate left. So I pass as well. So I'm going to win. I do defend the wall. So I managed to discard Banzai, just checking how many other Banzais I cleared out. And this is the point where I noticed that Miyamoto's Fury got played wrong by Rich. So just reminding Rich of the wording. But again, as I mentioned, it's these casual games is where you want to be making those mistakes, so you can remember them and not make them when it comes to a tournament. So yeah, we just pick up on that now. So we then move along. But then just having a conversation. So just remember, I'm allowed to go back and get my my keeper initiate out. So we've got ourselves sidetracked slightly by talking about Miyamoto's Fury. So pre-conflict, Richard passes. I'm then going to sacrifice that Yojimbo to stand the Borderlands defender. So I can go military water. And then trigger Spyglass. So that's all of the uses gone for this turn. So I flip into Frostbite, Frostbright, which allows him to, as an action, discard all attachments from character, which is quite nice. So that Spyglass is now going to disappear. So Rich is going to defend. So he defends for 3. I am 5. So correctly plays Miyamoto's Fury now. Kneels that defender. So I then play Assassinate. So I drop myself down to 5 honour to kill that character because it's only 2 printed cost or lower. So it does Frostbitten Crossing to remove the attachment. So both pass, so I'm going to win, but I'm not going to break. And get unopposed. And stand the Witch Hunter. So that's now 2 rings to me. Rich passes his second conflict. And it goes back to me. So then we're going to start to hammer down some of this honour that Richard has now and get him a bit more even footing with me. Oh no, I go Void. Again, try and clear his board a bit. So go back into the... Think to go through the crossing again, but then realising because he's got no fate, can't bring a character in. So I'm going to go for the Shameful Display, which is a nice easy break and get it out of the way. Because although he only honours or dishonours, he has to have 2 participating characters in order to trigger off. So he court games me, so I have to dishonour a character. But because my Witch Hunter is 0, it does absolutely nothing for me. So I break the province. So I take my second one. So he loses his honour for the Watch Commander, and loses his honour for unopposed. He drops himself down to 8. And then I'm going to use the Void to remove the fate from his character. So his ball's going to wipe again. And I'm just hammering back that hammering back that board advantage. So the Witch Hunter's going to go. So he's done fairly well for me. And I'm going to lose an honour. So I'm going to go down to 4 because the Witch Hunter was dishonoured. So going with 10. So I'm now at 10 for this round. So I managed to carry over 3 last time. And Rich is only on 7, so pushing a bit of a money advantage as well. So I'm now working whether I actually want to get rid of that district. It's been sat there all game and has done precisely nothing. Just checking Rich's discard pile to see how many attachments he's got. And I think stubbornly I'm going to decide to keep it because I want to use it. I don't care what I do it for, I want to get some use out of it. So I flip into Intimidating Healer. So if he passes a conflict, he loses an honour. A Shrewd... Oh, God. Play crap all the time and I've forgotten his name. Shrewd Yazuki. So when there's a holding in play, I can look at the top 2 cards, put one in hand, put one at the bottom. Another Keeper Initiate. And then Richard's flipped into some more Brash Samurais, another Storyteller, and the Artisan. So I go with Staunch Healer. It's not Staunch Healer. Intimidating Healer. He goes into Storyteller. And if for some reason I am a complete idiot and then try and pay for Shrewd Yuzuki from money that isn't in my pool by putting it on it and then taking it off and then not actually paying for it. So despite still having 5 there, I should only have 3. I know I was incredibly unwell at the time and wasn't exactly thinking straight, so I'm not entirely sure what the hell my thought process there was. It doesn't have a bearing on the game because I never get down to less than 2, if that makes sense. But no, a complete and utter brain fail on my behalf, and yeah, generally have no idea what the hell was going on in my head then. So Richard's got a second Brash Samurai out, or Brash Samurai even, with a fate on it. And we're going back to Dials. So let's draw some cards. So I go 1 and Richard then goes 4. So an absolute massive swing there. So Richard's gone from having a fairly healthy advantage. In the space of about 10 minutes, that honour has trickled down. Which again, one of the reasons why I like this, you have to carefully manage your honour as well as your fate. And with me having a much bigger board presence and having Intimidating Healer as well, it's going to make it quite tricky for Rich. So I drop a Watch Commander down on the Intimidating Healer. So just to really play that dishonour there. So it's over to Rich. So Rich has passed. I'm then going in for some challenges. So I'm going for a political challenge this time round. So I'm still trying to work out which challenge I'm going to go for. So it's definitely political. I'm going to go air. And I'm going to the manicured garden. So I'm going in with strength 5. Or am I going in with 5? No, I'm going in for a lot more than 5. So he's only going to block with the Brash Samurai. So he's going to, as first action, he's going to bow my Yuzuki. But I still get to do his ability. So part of the reason I was going in just so I can search those top 2 cards. One goes in hand, one goes to the bottom of the deck. So I'm at 7 at the moment. Rich then goes up to 3. So I'm still breaking. So I'm 7, 8 with the Imperial Favour, which I think when I was doing my calculation to Rich there, forgot to mention. Which is one of those things that people always seem to forget. So he's going to lose an honour. So stands the defender. Oh, so bows the Borderlands defender even. Loses an honour for his trouble. So he's now down to 3 honour. So it's currently 3-4. So I am still winning. So just trying to work out what I want to do. I do have an assassination in hand there. I'm just trying to work out how badly I want to take this and push it out. So I play the assassination. So Richard's trying to work out whether he can do anything about it. And at this point we take a small pause, just because I have some... Tim, one of our locals, pops over and just asks a rules question on one of their games. So yeah, so slight time out there. Not sure if Rich is actually able to do anything to stop it from triggering off. So yeah, so now that's done out of the way, we can get back to your scheduled viewing. So I think Rich had a cancel in hand, and we were trying to work out who was more honourable. But then worked it out incorrectly because it's not done on the number of honoured characters, it's how much honour you have in your pool. So regardless of that, he wouldn't have been able to trigger it off anyway because I have more honour than him. So that samurai disappears, and he gains an honour, so he goes back up to 4. So then just realised that I am breaking because of the Imperial Favour. Rich then plays court games to make me choose and dishonour a character I control. So I think slightly misreads, but still sticks with it anyway. So he loses that honour. So then I'm going to break. He's going to lose 1 for unopposed, and I'm going to make him lose 1. So he's going to go down to 1, and I go up to 9. And at this point, Rich is in a horrible position, particularly with having the intimidating healer out. If he goes in for... He has to make both challenges and defend my next challenge. So Rich was going to pass his conflict, then just remind him about intimidating healer, so he's not going to pass his conflict. So he's going to go for military fire with the samurai. So I defend with the Yojimbo and gain a fate. So I pass because we're drawing. Rich then makes me bow by playing mid defeat, and Rich will break that province. So he gets to honour or dishonour a character. So he's going to dishonour the Keeper Initiate, which is probably the right call, because then he goes down to a 0-0. So I've only got a military left here. So I'm now in. He bans eyes to try and go ahead. So he's currently 2. So I then chuck in a katana, for which Richard chucks in a katana. And I'm like, yes, I can do it! I'm going to give Richard a fate and steal the katana. So I then go up to 3 to his 2. So it's taken all game, but I finally managed to trigger it off. Is it worth it? Probably not. I think I'm still out on the district of whether I actually like it or not. The fact that it's a limit once per deck makes it very, very situational. So Richard passes, I pass. I then win that challenge. And then I don't think I drew a card. I discard one from Rich. And then Rich hasn't got a character, I don't think, that he can put in play. So yeah, so Rich then can't do a second conflict. Loses that fine Lonna. And it's a dishonourable victory for the mighty Crab. Crab. So yeah, that's Casual Friday. I promise next Casual Friday won't feature me. We'll get some of the locals, try and get some of those on camera. If anybody had any requests for a particular clan that they want to see featured from our local meta, then do let me know, and I'll try and soften one of those guys up to come on camera and hopefully bring their A game. But with it being Bristol and our meta, it might be a D+, C-. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. We've got our first tournament in next weekend, so you might actually start seeing some constructed games following a proper tournament format. But until then, thank you very much for watching. If you've got any feedback on the format of these, then do let me know. And until next time, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.